Okay, so we are streaming on YouTube now, and we're getting way more attendees in this Zoom meeting because we're up to 5. So we'll start right at 6 o'clock, and our attendees are joining in and can just see our lovely faces without masks.
It's true. A lot of the kids don't even know what I look like.
And we don't know what a lot of the third graders look like.
That's true. That's very true.
Okay. Hi, everyone. It is 6 o'clock, so we are going to start right on time. Thank you for joining us in this digital format. My name is Kelly Crosby, and I am the principal at Wentworth School. And I'm joined this evening by Anne. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
I'm Ann Ornstein. I'm the school nurse at Wentworth and the human growth and development teacher.
And Mr. Kitchen?
Keith Kitchen, phys ed teacher, the 3rd, 4th, and 5th at Wentworth, and the male puberty teacher.
Great. So, like I said, thank you for joining us. As I mentioned in the virtual information night video that we shared with you, that I'm sure you all gathered around your TVs at home and got some popcorn and watched in its entirety. Puberty education is really a bit of a rite of passage for our 5th grade students, and it certainly is for you as parents as well. The purpose of our time together now over the next hour or so is to address any questions that you have about the upcoming puberty education for 5th graders. So our plan this year, given our current circumstance, included some, I'm going to say the word, asynchronous learning opportunities for you as parents. So prior to the meeting, we hope that you had the opportunity to view the virtual grade 5 puberty education information video that Mr. Kitchen and Mrs. Ornstein and myself put together at your convenience and in the comfort of your own home. And in that video, Anne and Keith and I discussed the details about the schedule, the curriculum, and all of our plans for puberty education class this year. We also included in that package of information that I sent out a couple of times, the actual video that your child will watch as part of the first puberty class. So this year, students will watch the video titled Always Changing and Growing Up, and it's a co-ed puberty education video. We got some great early feedback that the video is improved over the video that we have used in the past. So we're really excited about that. It's a little bit longer, but it seems a little bit more current, and it's pretty well done. So we hope that you had a chance to watch that video. We wanted you to have the preview so that you know exactly what your child will see and discuss. Sometimes the timing of this unit also prompts parents to choose to begin the conversation at home about the physical changes your child will experience as they go through puberty, if you haven't already done that. So our communication also included some additional resources that we hope you found helpful and that you can refer back to. So given that front-loaded information, this Q&A session is just another effort and opportunity for you to ask us any lingering questions that you might have about puberty education for your 5th grader. So to ask a question, you simply raise your hand. If you're on the Zoom meeting, raise your hand using the raise hand feature. You go next to the participant section on your Zoom meeting. And that simply puts a little icon, a little hand icon next to your username and lets me know that you have a question, and I will promote you to panelist, and you can unmute yourself and ask your question. And then when you're done, I'll put you back as a participant so that you don't have to stay on the screen with us. If you are watching live on YouTube, or if public speaking is just not your thing, then you can email us a question. And that email address is WSOffice, as in Wentworth School Office, all one word, at scarboroughschools.org. And I will read it out loud and we will answer your question that way. So without further ado, wonderful attendees, I turn it over to you to ask us anything about the upcoming puberty education course that your child will be hopefully participating in at Wentworth School. So if anyone has a question, go ahead and raise your hand. And don't all jump at once. Bless your heart, Jen Shumway. You're just that kid in the class who can't stand the awkwardness of the teacher, like, Bueller. So Jen, do you have a question for us?
Sure, I will ask a question since you all took such a great time out of your evening to host this. I just want to know, do the boys and the girls watch the video together, or do they watch them separately?
Thank you for your question. And do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yep. We have the boys and girls watch the video together. It's this year, I think it's 26 minutes, but it's nice that they both see it so that they can learn what's going on with each other's bodies and all the changes, but mostly for respect and to understand empathy of what is going on. So it's kind of a nice thing. At first, we kind of tell them they can giggle a little bit and they can laugh, or if they feel it's too much, they can just close their eyes. But in all the years that we've been showing the video, most of them are pretty much prepared. And in the old days, I'd walk into a classroom with the video and they'd be lined up on the desk with popcorn all ready for it. So this year it's going to be a little bit different with the smaller classes, but I think the classes are more intimate, so they'll feel very comfortable watching it together. It's almost like a family now. Keith, can you think of anything else?
No, I think that covers it. I think it's important that they all see and get the same information at the same time. It might feel a little awkward, but you've given them the liberty to giggle if needed and take that edge off. So I think it's a good thing for both of them.
And what we see over the years is that for whatever reason, I don't know if it's like urban legend or what, they're like so stressed about the video. And then once they get the video done, they're like, okay, we did that and it wasn't so bad. So those are some of the reasons that we have them watch it in the first class and all together. Does that answer your question, Jen?
It does. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I just want to add one more thing to the video, is that some of the stuff might be a little bit too advanced for them at the time, and it goes right over their head. So what they're seeing is what they're ready for. And if they absorb that, that's at that maturity level at the time. But it's going to happen. So it's nice for them to see what's going to happen and how they're going to change, and they're going to get taller and their voice is going to change. As Kelly says, it's a rite of passage for them.
Okay, we've got a couple more hands up. So Debbie Dembski, I'm going to promote you to speaker. Hi, Debbie, you can go ahead and unmute and ask your question. Debbie, you might still be on mute. I'm gonna go ahead and put you back as a participant, Debbie, and then we can try again later. And we do have another hand up. Says Joe Leisure. Might be Joe, might be Deanne. Let's see.
Can you hear me?
It is Deanne. Hi,
Hey,
Deanne.
how are you? Thank you for taking the time to do this. So just a quick question. So are they getting this video with just the 9 or 10 kids that are in their class, or is the gym class like a combination of more than one class?
Such a great question. Keith, do you want to talk about that?
Yep, it's going to be just like they would be if they were coming to phys ed class. So they'll be in their small groups, and that's just for social distancing purposes. And we're going to create a very comfortable environment for them in the wellness room. So there's going to be plenty of space, and yeah, it'll be a small group environment, which I think they're getting used to right now. And if we added another class from another group to come in at the same time, I think that would be a little bit too much. So I think one small group at a time is the way it's going to go, and I think it'll be very successful.
Great, that sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks, Deanne. Okay, are there any other questions from our attendees on Zoom? And while you're thinking about that, I'm just going to look at the email from all of our thousands of viewers on YouTube.
Kelly, maybe I can talk a little bit about the second class, because they know that they're going to have the first class together, the boys and girls.
Sure.
And then the second class, we are going to review the questions that they might have left us anonymously. And Keith and I will answer them. We'll play a little game called Truth or False. And they really get into it. It's kind of like the basketball game Knockout, but it's where they stand up and we ask them a question. It's true or false. It's very easy questions, but it gets the questions flowing. And if the question I ask, if they don't know the answer, then I can reinforce it a little bit. After about a half hour, we're gonna divide, so the classes will be even smaller and more intimate, and we'll take the boys in one section and the girls in the other section and go into a little more different detail if that's what they want to do and ask questions. The girls will be talking about female hygiene and how to take care of it, and the boys will talk with Keith and the other male teacher about some of their concerns that they might have, worries, or just play a game and just kind of reinforce all the medical terminology versus the slang and the empathy and respect part.
That summed it up perfectly. And we
It's
talk about hygiene as well. So
Yes, hygiene for the boys too. That's as much for their benefit as it is yours and ours come fifth grade spring with our fifth graders. So it's almost as if you had like a crystal ball, Anne, because the question that came in via our email is, after the video, I'm assuming there's an opportunity to ask questions. For a student that may be shy to ask questions in a class setting, is there an opportunity for students to ask questions in writing or something ahead of time? Or is there a follow-up session after? So I think Anne just really nicely summarized that. And because there's a smaller number of students in the class, which I think has like a lot of benefits, but kids could feel a little bit on the spot. I've been in the puberty classes before, and when it's that time to write a question, she asks everyone to write something on the piece of paper so that kids aren't, like, oh, I saw Keith writing a question, I know that's his question. So they all write something, and sometimes it's like, oh, hi, Mrs. Ornstein, or, just some cute little note. But oftentimes they do have questions and they do ask. So that is the strategy that's used for that. Just one second, Ms. Ornstein, or did you want to tag on to that?
I do. If the question doesn't pertain to the curriculum that we can cover, because we really just talk about the physical changes, the social and emotional changes. If it talks about sexual intercourse or masturbation or gender or LGBTQ, those are great questions, and we really say those are great questions, but that's not part of the curriculum. So, you and I can go down to my office, we can call your parents, but it's a personal answers for you to share with them at that time. It's not for us. We just really try to cover the curriculum, and some students might not even know what it means, and others are very well advanced or are more familiar with it. So it's not part of the curriculum. Maybe someday it will be, but it's not right now, because it's really fifth grade human growth and development.
Yep. So for fifth grade, it is truly about what changes your body goes through as part of puberty. And Anne is really great about, if a student has has a question that she can't answer with the class, sharing with the kiddo, like, hey, yes, let's connect with the parents. And she's really good about looping parents in, as is Keith, like loop the parents in so that you're aware about what they're asking about. So Melanie Kogan, I'm going to promote you to speaker for your question.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you great. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I'm just wondering about what kind of considerations you are doing in the remote school setting. So the kids who are doing remote, will it be awkward, because it's remote and no one's really asking questions? Or are you doing anything differently? Or have you thought about how you're going to do that?
Yeah, so we do have 2 remote fifth grade classes, as you guys probably know. And we've talked through that quite a bit. I mean, fortunately, the kids are so used to it and they're doing such a great job with it. And this is how their learning has been for most of them for the whole year, who've been the fully remote students. So we have talked a little bit about that. And Anne and Keith, do you want to talk a bit about some of your strategies? And we have some great professional resources in our fully remote teachers and the strategies that they've used for engagement. But I mean, this meeting is a really perfect example, right? Like sometimes there's not like as much interaction as you think that there might be. And so you kind of have to punt and figure out a different strategy and, improvise a little bit. So go ahead, Anne, why don't you get it started and then we'll hear from Keith.
Yep. So we're prepared for the remote, and it will still be the same size class. It's just that it's going to be on a screen. Keith and I will still be in the classroom so that they can see us. we're going to be showing the same movie. They're just going to be at home watching it and viewing it. They're going to see the PowerPoint that I am going to be discussing and Keith and I will be talking about. So they'll see each topic that we'll be talking about, acne, hygiene. So then we'll just kind of try to figure out a way. We haven't thought about it. Maybe they can type in, Keith knows with when he plays a game, how they can be anonymous when they ask questions. So we'll try to figure out a way for them to do that so we can answer their questions.
An anonymous Google form that they're so good at and easy. And Keith's game is Kahoot.
Kahoot, yeah.
The kids know how to play remotely and love.
Yeah, so I believe that group will be started the 3rd trimester, right? I want to make sure. So, okay. Yeah, so we will come up with a strategy, especially after, the first couple of weeks of seeing how it goes in person. So I think we'll be able to come together and say, this will work. We can do it this way. So we will try to make it a little more exciting than just the Brady Bunch squares. So I think. So I hope that answered your question.
Does that answer your question, Melanie?
Yeah, I just, sometimes I think it's a little awkward. Well, it's awkward anyway for these kids. And then when they're kind of, alone and kind of just at a screen, I don't know, how much questions are going to be asked. So I don't know if it's just going to be like them watching the video and that's just, as good as it gets. And maybe that's it. I don't know. But I just didn't know if you had, I know that the Kahoots is very popular and that the kids really like that. So that's good, to be doing that kind of thing. So.
Yeah, anytime that we can make something into a little bit of like friendly competition, they seem pretty much all in on that. And I have utmost confidence that these great teachers will be engaging. And the kids, honestly, like I think that they like to act like they're dreading it and are really nervous. And, they are nervous for sure. But I think that they're really enamored with the content. And they're all a little bit egocentric at this age, developmentally appropriate, perfectly developmentally appropriate. So having these opportunities to talk about themselves, I think feels really good for them. So thanks for your question, Melanie. Certainly never thought that we'd be teaching, remote Zoom puberty classes, but here we are. And I know we can make the best of it. Randy, you are the next one, so I'm going to promote you to panelist so that you can ask your question. Whoops, I might have just promoted the wrong person. Sorry if I'm horrifying somebody here. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, Randy. Go ahead and unmute and you can ask your question. Hi, Randy. Randy, I'm going to put you back as a panelist. Raise your hand again if you want to give it another shot, okay?
Does Melanie have another question? Nope.
I think that her hand was just up from before. Okay, are there any other questions from our Zoom panelists? Keith, do you see any hands up?
No.
And there are no more emailed in questions. So, I mean, I really just think that everybody did a great job with their homework and reviewed all of the materials. And the video that we shared with you was so informative and comprehensive that there just aren't any real burning, lingering questions. I would like to say, please, if you haven't done so already, complete the permission form. So one good thing about our current learning environment is that we're eliminating that paper shuffle. So the permission form is linked right into our family news, which I sent last week, the week before, and this week. So if you see the Wentworth Family News this week, please click and complete that form, allowing permission for your child to participate. We're really looking forward to working with them and getting this underway and help just, working alongside you as partners in this really important topic for your kiddos. Keith, Anne, any final words from you?
No, I think you covered it.
I just want to mention, I've gotten quite a few emails of people saying they weren't sure how to do the electronic consent. So they sent me an email saying I'm allowing my student to participate. I forwarded that to Ian. If we don't receive the electronic consent or permission before the class, your child will have to figure out an alternative thing to do that day. If they're in school, they'll have to go into the Learning Commons or something. So I think it's nice that if you can get that electronic consent in. If you choose and opt out to have your child not participate in this, if you are a remote student, like on trimester 3, I think it's Tuesday afternoon at 2:05 and Friday afternoon at 2:05. Those are the last PE classes, health classes. We will put a packet together, and when you pick up, I know there's a pickup at curbside, we'll get those packets to you so you can get the information. So your student will have something to do health oriented so that they have something to do during the PE time that they're not going to be participating, because that's been a lot of questions. I think that's it though. But we appreciate if we could get that consent in tonight, tomorrow, because Mondays the classes do start for trimester 2, and we don't want to do the fast shuffle at 9 a.m. It will be hard to find something for your child, and then they'll feel a little kind of embarrassed if they don't have that form in. So thank you.
It looks like we do have a little last minute question. So I'm going to promote Joe or Deanne Leisure again.
Hi, sorry about that. So I'm asking specifically, obviously for our daughter, but does she start on Monday? Keith, maybe you know. I don't know when she has PE. I'm just trying to go over stuff with her before she actually has the class with you guys. So is she starting Monday?
Who is her teacher, Leanne?
Mrs. Young.
She is Monday.
She is the first class on Monday, so she's the first one.
Okay, alrighty. Thank you very much.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Okay, I think that's everything. If there was anybody who earlier I promoted to, oops, sorry, Deanne, I'll get you out of here. Anyone earlier who I had a question but wasn't able to ask it, feel free to email. You can still email at wsoffice@scarboroschools.org. And we will be sure to get back to you. Like I said earlier, we're really looking forward to continuing this journey with you and with your child. And we appreciate your time in tuning in to our webinar tonight. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.